Welcome back to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Murrell, proudly sponsored by Super Resin. This week's special guest is Marcus Portman, a former WBF world champion and English boxing champion with an incredible life story of fighting battles both inside and outside the ring. We talk about the highs of becoming a champion and the darker side of addiction. This one's raw, powerful and packed with honesty from start to finish. Thanks for listening and watching this episode.
2-3 day sessions, just sitting in the car. There was holes in my windows. There's one thin blanket, one thin sheet, and there's cockroaches every single day. People can call you champ around your area, but when you get to the cameras in front of your face like Sky Sports, you know it's real, and that's when you got to turn up.
Welcome to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Murrell, and this week's special guest is Marcus Portman. Really looking forward to sharing the Good, the Bad and the Ugly. How are we, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you very much. Yeah, all good.
Long time coming, mate.
Yep.
You know, we rearranged and stuff. You were busy, handing out boxing awards and stuff like that. You know, giving back to the community, which is brilliant. So I can't really grumble. But listen, Marcus, your stories is all about survival, adversity, good, bad, and ugly, highs and lows. You name it, you've been through it.
Absolutely.
You've lived a colourful life. So listen, let's get right into it. Where you're from, where you grew up, family life and school life was like.
Originally from West Bromwich in the West Midlands, and it was pretty much a kind of a rough area at the time in the 80s and 90s. A lot of gangs and stuff like that. Family wise, we was Rastafarians. We had dreadlocks. Not a lot of people know. I've got no hair now, so you wouldn't know that. But yeah, they fell out a long time ago now. But it was Rastafarians. My dad, my brother, and myself and my mum was the only Rastafarian family on this estate, probably within a 10-mile radius. It was quite unique at the time in the 80s, so Dad got quite a lot of stick. We got kind of a lot of stick growing up, but
racism and stuff like that.
Yeah, because not so much the colour of the skin, it's because of the dreadlocks mainly. It was kind of like advertising, like, you know, not many people had dreadlocks then. There's not many Rastafarians on the streets in that time, but you know what, I can't complain. It was okay.
Yeah.
Got through it.
You grew up on a council estate, did you say? Yeah.
Council estate, right at the back of the West Bromwich Albion football ground.
Right at the Hawthorns.
The Hawthorns, you got it, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times watching my team, Everton. I'm sure Ben's been there.
Yeah, I bet you won, don't you, Everton?
I think I've been before, and he's a Beatles, if I'm going to be honest. But
right.
But no, listen, like I say, growing up on a council estate, I've said this to many of our guests, you know, council estate, community spirit and all that, you know, was there much of that on there? And
definitely, there still is now. I still go back to that council estate I was on, and it's still that community now. Everybody looks after each other. My parents weren't in, which is a lot of the times they was going out earning money whichever way they did, shape or form. Which I look back at it now and think they've done whatever it took
to provide and stuff.
The neighbours would open the door and say, "Do you want a sandwich still?" Or they'd open the door, and I was there for. My parents came back at 10, 11 at night. I'd be there, so
I think that's what happened to a lot of us when we were kids. You know, I think, you know, obviously in West Bromwich, you know, where I live in Runcorn and just outside Liverpool, Manchester bit. I think a lot of places, that community spirit where like you could go and knock next door or whatever, and they'd give you a sarnie or they'd give you a drink of juice or whatever. Yeah. You know, and everyone looked out for each other. That's how it should be. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
But you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s, like you say, you know, tough times.
It seemed, compared to now, I think it was tougher then. In my opinion, like where I was for there, it's a bit filtered out a little bit now, watered down, but back in the 80s and 90s, around West Bromwich, it was kind of, you know, more gangs and stuff like that. It was more survival. And you had a lot more dangers around there than there is today.
Yeah. What did you witness and experience as a kid growing up in West Brom?
Just gang life, really. There was various gangs, SRT crew, that was right, Bradley Close crew, Raiders crew. Some of the Burger Bar was filtering out around as well. So you had Smethwick crew. I was bang in the middle of Handsworth, West Brom, Smethwick, and there was just gangs galore. So I always bumped into something. I always got caught up in something. So it was pretty entertaining.
I mean, when you're growing up and it's like estates or postcodes, that's what they say, postcodes and stuff like that. It must be scary for, like, you know, for being a kid as well. You know, you just forget what you're doing or where. But if you're on the ball or you're streetwise, you know not to go into that area and stuff like that. But being a kid, you shouldn't
my opinion, you shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean?
I pretty much didn't. Because I was so confident in myself. Like, I kickboxed when I was 8 years old. I've always been to martial arts and boxing, so
You could handle
I
yourself.
can handle myself. I was always confident to do whatever I thought I wanted to do. Sometimes I'd run into, a bit of trouble, but I was always confident in doing anything I wanted to, and just sticking to what I believe, and challenging my own life. Really.
Yeah, being true to yourself
True
as
to
well.
myself, yeah.
Yeah. So the kickboxing, how did you, get into that? Was you a bit part of a club and stuff like that?
Yeah, it was ECA, ECKA it was called. Neil Kelly, the Ginger Ninja. So shout out to Ginger Ninja. He was absolutely an animal. He was amazing, like good trainer. So I boxed and kickboxed at the same time. My dad was obsessed with martial arts, with Bruce Lee and stuff at the time. It's all what was on the telly. We never watched, I don't know, Rugrats or something like that. We watched martial arts all the time.
Yeah.
Martial arts or horse racing. But yeah, so I boxed and kickboxed at the same time. It was 3 times a week boxing and 3 times a week kickboxing, every single day of the week.
Yeah. Did you go on to, compete at like a certain level, or was you doing like tournaments or competitions or anything like that?
I've done about 70 tournaments in kickboxing, so I must have won about 50. Yeah.
So you fought at a decent, you won many fights, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we all did. My brother and my dad. We all went on the circuit. We travelled everywhere. Probably up here as well. Yeah,
In the Northwest and stuff.
Northwest stuff like that. Yeah. So we clocked up loads of trophies. Most tournaments we entered, one of the 3 of us would have won. So I got 2, and ECA Nationals. I won the Nationals and a European Championship as well in Holland, where I picked up silver medal in that. So that was Battle of Europe.
Yeah,
so, semi-contact that was, by the way.
Yeah, not full contact.
On the mat.
Yeah.
Striking, quick striking, stuff like that. So.
And that's how you'd gain the points and stuff like that. Whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Where did it go from there? Was you looking to turn pro or anything, or was it just
boxing? I've done the same for about 5 years, box and kickbox same time. But when I started to step up, get a bit more serious in the boxing, my style had to adjust. And with the kickboxing, it was like kind of like forward and backwards, like striking, and I had to slow my feet down a little bit more in boxing. So I had to quit the one. So I stuck with the boxing instead of the kickboxing. So
yeah,
I chose that route.
While you're doing, like, a lot of people who we have on the podcast who are involved with boxing or kickboxing or K1 or MMA and stuff like that, it's all about discipline and all that. But with all that going on around you, where you were from,
yeah,
was the times that obviously, like you said before, you knew how to look after yourself and all that, but there was times where you come a bit on top and you've had to do what you've got to do. You know what I mean?
On the streets, yeah.
Yeah.
I was always fighting at school on the street. So, looking back at it, you're not really proud of it, but it's just I grew up in an area where I had a lot of stick, being a Rastafarian and stuff like that. So I think I was naturally a defensive person because I was learning how to defend myself all the time. So yeah, I still kind of like that now, but I have to challenge it in
different ways.
In different ways, yeah.
So obviously from the kickboxing, you turned pro in '99?
That's right. When I was 18, I never really had a long amateur career because there was 3 welterweights in our division from my camp, which was Wednesbury Boxing. It was Young Mutley, Jimmy Gould, and myself. But they campaigned at that welterweight weight before me, and they was certified. So I had to kind of climb the ranks before them.
Trying to break in,
and then they was in the NABCs, the ABAs. They were the main tournaments in boxing. So, but I did get to the ABAs and I got to the final NABCs after that.
Yeah.
So
it's some achievement to be, to like the ABAs. I mean, a lot of the pro boxers who've been, have always said, you fight the best. Simple as that.
The NABC and the ABAs, they are the pinnacle. And I never quite got an ABA trophy, but I got to an NABC final, so that's something. But yeah, I turned professional at 1999, and the changeover was pretty interesting.
What was it like your debut? Do you remember making your first ever fight pro?
Yeah, I remember just going out at Gala Baths in West Bromwich. It was a swim baths, and I looked over in the corner. I didn't know who he was fighting. It was a guy called Ray Wood, and he's built like a brick shit house. Like he was like a proper man. I'm 18, and he's about 25. Like, you know, built. I'm like, oh God, you know what I mean? Let's go see what I'm going to be like. So it ended up being all right. I won on points.
You won on points, yeah.
Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah.
What other fights stick out for you? Because, you know, listen, you fought some unbelievable fighters, Matthew Hatton, Willie Lamont, Scott Dixon.
Yeah.
So just them, you know, them alone, you know, that's some,
Yeah, they're
you know what I
quite
mean?
decent names. Matthew Hatton was the first Sky bill I ever fought on, and Ricky was fighting top of the bill. I think it was against an American guy. I can't remember his name now, but I'd seen when I went to that venue. It was at the Manchester MEN.
The MEN, yeah.
And there was a big box at the top, and it was Sky Sports was obviously covering it. And I see all this stuff on TV, and like I'm here now. I've kind of not made it, but you know what?
This is what I want. I want a piece of this.
What I want, yeah. And then the fight with Matthew Hatton I was winning every single round until he cut the ring off the fourth round and stopped me in the fourth round. So,
but listen, you know, to be even, you know, to be where you're at, like, you know, you've got to be very proud of yourself because a lot of people can, you know, they can talk the talk, and when you get, I mean, listen, I'd love to be about. I love boxing, but it's something I've never pursued and stuff. When people say they can, but to get in there, to even have the backside to get in the ring and showcase what you've been learning in the gym, but then to do it on a big platform like that, Sky Sport, all the cameras, all the lights.
It's a different ball game. The first Sky show, you know who you are or what you've come into sport for. Do you really want it? It's people can call you champ around your area, and at a local town halls where you're boxing or at a swim baths. But when you get the cameras in front of your face like Sky Sports, you know it's real, and that's when you got to turn up. And to be honest, I turned up for a lot of fights after that. I've won a lot of fights after that. So the Willie Lamont fight was stood out as well. Rest in peace, Willie Lamont as well.
Yeah,
great
definitely.
fighter.
Yeah, great
Commonwealth champion, former Commonwealth and European champion. The first person to put Amir Khan down as well. So I was proud to share the ring with Willie Lamont in Scotland, and Super Scott Dixon as well. That was the story about that was rest in peace, Barrington Patterson. Brazzo as well, one of the Zulus. He was there at that fight as well. It was at the Everton Sports Centre, I think it was. Yeah. It was there, and I beat Scott Dixon. Just come back from retirement, and it chose me as like a bit of a warm up fight because I think he wanted to have his eye on a British title and stuff like that.
Overlooked you. And...
Yeah, and I ate points in pretty much every round. I kind of like it was a good fight, a good tough fight, but I won quite convincingly. And Barrington Patterson was there, and he stood up and he shouted, West Brom, like the only person, because it was a hostile crowd, it was all for him. And he shouted up, he says, West Brom, yeah. I remember it.
I don't think no one's going to argue with me.
Nobody said nothing.
No.
Nobody said a thing.
Yeah.
And like, that's when I knew that him from there. Like, I thought, who was that? And people started telling me who he was.
Yeah. Rest in peace as well. He was,
what a guy, man. Legend.
I didn't know him personally, but I know a lot of good people who did, and he had a lot of respect and spoke so highly of him and stuff like that. But that must have made you feel like, you know, $1 million.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, winning that arena, it was like hostile anyway. And then I thought, actually, I'm going to go and see him now. Let's
in the Lion's Den and it sort of thing. I mean, did you thrive off that, or did you feel intimidated? What, you know, because some fighters say they thrive off going into where everyone's just you're just going in there to prove them all wrong. And
that one kind of was a bit hostile at first because at first, raving around the changing rooms and stuff like, you're there a day before, so around the hotel, you're like seeing his camp and stuff like that. He's certified as a Commonwealth champion. Yeah. He had a bigger team than I did, so I'd bump into his camp and stuff like that, and they'd try and intimidate you, stuff like that. So
try and get in your head.
He was confident. He was Super Scott Dixon, you know what I mean? He was always flamboyant and that. So it was hostile, but as soon as Barrington Patterson stood up like that, I felt right comfortable in my element.
You knew you had him in your corner,
yeah. I had a bit of backup there, didn't I? Just a bit.
Yeah, well, but you know, obviously fighting professionally and becoming WBF world champion and English champion.
Yeah.
Everything that you trained for, you know, from being a kid and all that, and the crap going along the way, you know, the gangs and the stuff, you know, the adversities and stuff like that. What was that feeling like when you became WBF champion?
Yeah, it all makes it worth it because, as you say, the gangs and stuff like that, trying to avoid the street life and avoiding prison, well, I did go to prison. We'll get to that in a
Yeah,
bit. But,
yeah.
But there's a couple of times where I could have gone earlier, and just avoiding just doing things on road and choosing boxing and seeing people earning money, doing different things. But you think, I'm sticking to the plan. You know what? I'm confident in myself. I've got a talent, and as soon as I won the English title, that was like, I know this is why I've stuck to it now. It's better. It's an amazing feeling. Even if I retire now after the first
You've achieved what you've set out to do.
I could have been happy just retiring after the first belt, because no one was really winning belts from West Brom then. So I was doing something what no one really could do back then. There's only really me and young Muttley flying the flag for West Brom.
That must have been, you must have been proud, being from where you're from.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're the talk of the town and that, and everyone's behind you and stuff like that. It's making you feel, and you've got probably young kids and that, boys and girls looking up to you. If you can go and do it, you're from the streets, you're real as they come, you know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyone can achieve what they set out to do, and it's like a story that you think, wow, this is like a what's the name story. This, you know what I mean?
I'm just like everybody else on the streets, and I was just one who just persisted, and you know what, just sticking to the plan and executed it at the end.
But with all that, Marcus, what I'm going to get into is, now then everyone, sorry for interrupting this episode. Here's a message from our sponsor, Super Resin. They are specialists in resin driveways and flooring across North Wales and the North West. Whether it's a driveway, worktop or flooring, they've got you covered. For 10% off, use the code TGTBTU. Now let's get back to the episode. Winning the belts, being champion, it comes with the good, the bad and the ugly side of it. The company you keep, jealous people, gangs trying to extort and take what's yours, what you worked hard for. How did that all father out for you, mate?
Well, the gangs around that time, they didn't like myself climbing the ranks and being spoke about, because they thought they owned the whole town. So as soon as they Marcus Portman, he's got this, he's doing this, he's got a new car, he's got a big gold chain. They came for me. Not everybody, but it's because I didn't really want to mix with them. I didn't give them any time of day, because I wanted to live the opposite side of the spectrum.
But you had to, because you're a professional boxer, do you know what I mean?
Some of the fighters from West Brom, they did. They was connected to them, but I didn't. I chose to. And it was kind of like, I paid the price for it, but you know what, it's I got out of the situation anyway, so. And
like I say, look, at the end of the day, you've got to live. If you want to be that professional boxer, there's certain things you've got to do, and unfortunately, you've got to take yourself away from people, and I think making that break for anybody is very, very hard. Do you know what I mean? And it's like yourself, and like you say there, you've just, look, you're in your lane. But unfortunately, some people don't want to let people be and let them get on with their lives and see them do well. And that's just, life is just fucking so sad that it gets to stuff like that. But obviously, did you come out the other side of that, or?
Yeah, well, I kind of took some advice off. There was a runner, sprinter called Mark Lewis Francis. He was Olympic gold medalist on the relay, and he was from West Bromwich. And they did the same to him. They tried to extort him, take his cars off him, because he didn't want to be part of them either. It was part of a little bit of racketeering as well. Like, you've got to pay your way. If you want to have protection, you've got to like kind of have something to do with us. Like, but he says, no, what, like me, not interested. We just could do our thing. We stand on our own two toes. So, but yeah, I got out in the end. I had a couple of chains took off me. Fought back for him. Went on the field. Arranged to go on the field and get the chain back. And that time I had a knife straight in my back from one of them, Got stabbed in the back.
This is the, and you know what, what's yours and stuff like that. For me, that's like, it's sad really, because you've worked so hard and stuff like that, and you've only wanted to do better for yourself and your family and stuff like that. But unfortunately, there's these type of people that obviously think it's okay to try and extort people and try and, where you wasn't standing for it. Because that's your belief. That's from an early age, what I've spoken to you so far, I'm not standing for this shit. We'll go on the field, we'll have a straightener and whatever. And
exactly what it was,
And then someone pulls a blade out and does that to you.
I even called the fighter, I called him. I said, because he's friends with them, I says, if I call you, things are going to be okay. You know what I mean? It's going to be a fair fight.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as we were walking up to the field, he was in West Bromwich as well. He walked straight behind me and stuck a knife straight in my back. And I thought it was a punch at first. I thought, that's pretty sore. I didn't feel the pain at first. And all of a sudden, my blood started to come out my arm, my back. And then he's tried to go at me again. And he's chasing me with a knife now. Wanted to do a little full
too
number on me, yeah. And but yeah, it's that situation. You know, you live and learn. You know what? It's got over that, and it didn't stop me from doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, what you're doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously hospitalised or whatever, and you've got to go and get it sorted and stuff like that. But from then on, did you continue to box?
Yeah, I continued to box. Probably had about 6 weeks off. Straight back in the gym. Yeah, probably less than that. Probably running, but I just weren't punching.
Yeah.
It didn't stop. Didn't derail me. Nothing's derailed me from boxing or kickboxing. Nothing has derailed me, no matter what.
So from boxing and that, Marcus, how did you end up in Winson Green Jail?
Yeah, I ended up at Winson Green Jail. My friend had a domestic violence charge on him, and we'd come back out the pub, and his missus. We drove past the missus' house and unluckily she was in the window and spotted us. So he says, "Oh, that's them. That's my ex-boyfriend and whatnot." And I've put my hand out the window and I've done this. I said, "You're going to get it." A hand signal. That's all I did. Police kicked my door off and done me for threats to kill. They arrested me for threats to kill, even though I didn't. You know, it was nothing intentional. It was just a hand signal from far away. It was like 20 yards away. They kicked the door off, and I never got bail.
Did you get remanded and that stuff?
I got remanded, yeah, and we've got refused bail 3 times.
Did you? Yeah.
Yes.
Straight to Winson.
Straight to Winson Green. I just signed for Ken Purchase and Richie Woodall then, a new promotion. So
you were just like
I trained, just gone to the Aston Villa Centre training. I'm sparring Don Broadhurst, people like Jamie Cox. They was in that camp. You know, I thought this is a good part of my life at the minute, and that just got derailed. And Ken Purchase actually came to the court and said that he signed for us.
Character reference sort of thing.
Yeah. The judge still said no, I'm not letting him out until I had to give a £10,000
bail.
Bail, yeah. That's what got me out.
Was it? Yeah.
On tag, yeah.
No way. But I mean, anyone going to jail, I've not been, but like we've had guests on and stuff. But for me, I always ask guests who've obviously gone to jail and stuff, whether they've done 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years.
Yeah.
When you landed in there, what was the feeling like, Marcus?
Well, my dad had been there a lot, the same prison. He was always in and out there as a kid, but it doesn't make it any easier for me going there, does it? It's just, I'm just aware of it. It's there. It was the worst experience I've ever had in my life. Anybody comes out of a prison and says that it was easy or it's nothing, I don't mind going there. I'd never ever want to go there again. It was terrible. 24-hour bang up. The only hour association I had, I was jogging around the courtyard because I knew I had a fight coming up. So I'd jog around the courtyard in association for a full hour, and people look at me thinking, what's going on here? He's weird. But I didn't realise, I kept myself to myself.
Yeah.
I didn't really tell anybody, you know, I've got a fight lined up. I'm a pro boxer. I'm not like you, like, you know, keep repeat offenders and stuff, shoplifting and stuff like that. I'm not one like you lot, so I didn't deserve to be there, really.
Yeah. So how long did you actually do?
I'd done 12 weeks.
Just 3 months, like, yeah.
3 months, which doesn't sound long, but in there it's absolute torture.
I can imagine it. Listen, I always say I couldn't do it, you know what I mean? And a lot of people say, you know, they see a lot of things and they experience or they witness certain things. Did you have any experiences or stuff like that, what you witnessed and stuff?
The conditions, I was at the old, there's the old side and there's a new side at Winson Green. The remand side is the old side, and there was holes in my windows in the cell. There was one thin blanket, one thin sheet, mattress, and there was cockroaches every single day. You'd get your head down, all your eaves, like feet tapping. It was a cockroach. Then my pad mate would get his old black guy he was. He's a veteran. He'd been there years. So.
A rolled up paper or something.
No, he'd get his slipper and he just go bang, and I'm like, where the fuck am I? What, you know, what's life come to? Yeah, it's freezing. Like the
Conditions were shite, was the
terrible. It's the old side of Winton Green. Yeah, the toilet. There was no cubicle. There was just a pot there, and you had a blue board, and you had to tell your pad mate, look, I'm going for a number 2 now, whatever. So you had to just say, cover your nose. You go underneath the sheets, and you put the blue board in front of.
so you can have a number 2,
Yeah,
like
until you go to the K wing, like the new side. That's when you get a cubicle, and you feel like you
bit
made
more
like,
privacy in that
yeah.
and stuff, like
It's and bunk beds and stuff like that, so it's a bit easier there. But that old side is horrendous.
That's where like a proper. That's when you speak about jail.
Yeah,
That's what a jail is. That's what you experienced.
that's the proper jail. Yeah, that's where my dad was, but he had no TV then. At least I had a telly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So obviously jail. You know, you dealt with some shite and stuff like that, like you say. But coming out, obviously were they still looking to get you off like fighting and stuff like that, even though you'd been away and stuff like that?
I came out and I trained straight with Richie Woodall again. But then my old promoter offered me the world title fight, so I'd gone back to him. I said, I've signed the contract. He says, don't worry about that, son. I know Ken Purchase and Richie. He said, we'll sort it. So I'd gone back to Errol Johnson, BCB, which it is now. And literally, it was 3 months after I come out of prison.
Yeah.
I'd gone in there and I won that world title. So
WBF World Title, you fought the British and Commonwealth. And
I fought for the British and Commonwealth. Yeah, I was winning the British title fight until I got cut, and the corner stopped it. So I would have had the British title as well.
yeah, but
Yeah,
the cut,
but the cut was
I can
too
see
bad.
it on your eye there.
Yeah, it was horrendous. So
Yeah.
the corner pulled me out of that one. So, but you know, everything happens for a reason. I've still got a couple of belts. So yeah.
Yeah. So life after boxing, you know, steroids, security work, debt collecting, and obviously appearing on Channel 4 program Repo Man. Was that like what you were looking to do, or did it just all fall into place all at once? Or
I knew a lot of boxers, they stop training when they, retire, whatever. And I knew I wanted to be something else. I wanted to do something else. You know, trying to put my mind into achieving something else, and bodybuilding was the one. So, and steroids was just, it's natural for a bodybuilder to want to get massive, and not condone it to anyone at all. But that's what it's about. So, I got the first course I took on steroids, typical Decker and Sust. I must have put on about 3 stone, but a quality muscle. I thought, I've got something here. And then it led to door work, gives you more confidence, more size, more, authority. And yeah, I'd done the doors for a good 7 years.
yeah,
And then
must have been some madness on the doors. You must like dealing with like carry on the doors, on like people on nights out and all that, people off the cakes and stuff. And
I've had a lot of street fights, a hell of a lot. I mean, people talk about my boxing career, but
and you keep,
it's kickboxing. My street fighting.
With that said, it comes with the. I mean, obviously the doormen are there to, you know what I mean. But then when you've got lunatics who are wanting to, who don't want
at the end of the night, I'm the one of them doormen. I don't say something. If you want to have a one-on-one at the end of the night, the doors are closed, and I'm going to meet them on a field somewhere. And I've done that many times. I've met other doormen on the field. Yeah, and got it done.
You've done it the right way. Do you know what I mean?
The right way. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always say, like, with security work and stuff like that, it's a tough job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But a lot of them shout and show authority, and then shut the doors and then go into the cars and go home. But I was always one of them. I stick to my word. If we want to, if we've got some differences, we'll settle it later on at night.
Settle it properly or whatever, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I've always got a lot of respect for that. Like, in my circle for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You, like you say, you seem to be one of them. You put your mind to something and whatever. But there's ways and meanings of obviously, like, dealing with stuff, and that was your way of look, if there's a problem, let's just go. Or if there's not a problem, look, there you go, just leave it or whatever. But like,
exactly, most time I'd want it to,
you didn't, what I mean.
That direction,
but look, that's the other option, basically. You're saying.
Yeah.
Hiya everyone, sorry to interrupt this episode, but here's a quick one from me. If you're enjoying the podcast and you enjoy what we're doing, you can now buy us a coffee. It's a simple way to keep those stories coming. No subscription, just that one-off bit of support. The link's in the description. Now back to the episode. How did you get into the debt collecting and stuff?
The Channel 4 Repo Man. My mate said he didn't turn up for work one day, and he said, "Do you fancy doing my shift?" I said, what is he doing? He said, repoing. I thought, well, that's easy. I can do that. Just go to someone's door, tell them I want that or whatever. I thought it was simple. But at the time, I didn't know I was going to get... The first day I ever done it, there was a car following us behind. I said to Sean, Sean James is the one who, he does a repo man now. He's still doing it now. He's really big at now. So there was a car following us. And I said, who's that? He said, that's Channel 4. I said, Channel 4? He said, yeah, they're filming us for all our repos. I thought, I don't even know how to put a car in a recovery truck. It was mainly cars, it was repossessing cars. I didn't even know how to, put a car in a truck.
Your first day in there?
Your first day. And he's like, just, look good, just blend in. Pretend that you're doing something, pretend you're turning something. And I'm like, okay. And then, but yeah, they filmed us for a good 6 months, and the Channel 4 Repo Man was a big success, really. Until they found, like, our backgrounds, well, his background mainly, he'd been to prison, I'd been to prison, and on Twitter he had a lot of sticks saying he'd paint strip their car, or it was all
there was all like kinds of like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and Channel 4 didn't want to touch us after that, like they axed us.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but he's gone on to another station now.
Yeah.
He went on to Quest, and he's with somebody else now, and
he's doing very well and stuff like that.
I'm in the next series on January, so I'm back on board.
Yeah.
I've had the phone call last week, so I'm back on board.
But that's brilliant, you obviously... I mean, when I say it's brilliant, I mean, look, so when people say about repossession and stuff like that, obviously, you're not going there to, like, fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you approach it, Marcus, when, like, say, for instance, people call bailiffs or whatever, or repo men?
Yeah.
So when you turn up to someone's house and that, and you're nice as pie and whatever, what's the like the situations that you've been been dealt with, like, you know what I mean, where you're trying to trying to deal with?
They vary from job to job. I never used to like the house ones where you're taking people like they've taken out a logbook loan, and you knock a woman's door and you can tell they've got kids there. That car's to take their kids to school in. And one incident there was, and this is where I stopped doing the job, because we'd took this job on. She'd never paid the logbook loan. We'd followed her to take her kids to school, and then drop the kids to school. We'd followed her to the swim baths, and then we struck and put her car on the back of a covered truck while she was in the swim baths. She came out with swim baths with her hair wet. She said, "Oh, that's my car. What are you doing with it?" Said, "You haven't paid your bill, love." She said, "I've got to pick up my kid." And I said, I thought, I know, we've just watched you drop your kid off to school. And I got in the car, and then Sean James says, you got to separate your emotions from the job. But I couldn't do that. So I said to Sean, only get me on the commercial jobs. I'm not going to no one's door. I'm not taking no one's car off them. Some people can do that, but I won't.
Your heart is what's the name. You know what I mean, and that's why I asked the question, because I can we've like where you've grew up, and we've grew up in council estates and that, and we know times are hard and stuff like that. And when people say you've got to separate that from that, it's easy to do that, but when you've fucking you've been...
I was one of them where bailiff's not my door.
Same.
I was one of them.
My ma used to hide behind the couch from the property and that, so do you know what I mean? Or the catalogue man and that.
The TV, well, I think you had to pay for the TV or something
you had to put...
Yeah, and it's come around and try and take it away from us, like... I lived that life myself, and like I didn't really want to go that far.
But it's home, that particular one, it's home that day, did it?
It did, yeah. But the commercial ones where the companies are like trying to scam, trying to change the names and stuff like that, I used to run right in them, used to disconnect all the stuff in the shops and stuff like that, and them are the ones, or fishmongers, or they're the ones what I used to run right in, so and get success. So not really. Yeah. You come away from it kind of without a conscience then.
That's what I'm saying.
They're trying to beat the system anyway.
Yeah. No, but like you're saying there, like going to, and it's mad that that's why I asked it, because that position where you're in, where you've got to go, look, you've taken this out and you've not kept the repayments or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the circumstances of, like, you've got kids and you've got whatever, and then you've got in the van or whatever, and you've gone, I can't fucking do this.
Yeah.
Especially these, like, what's the name, where you've got to go and take people's fucking, but obviously the commercial stuff and all, like, you've got no problem with
they're doing. They're trying to change the names and that,
Use it all over all that.
Yeah, you can see the way they answer. Yeah, that they're trying to, scam you and like saying,
of course,
oh, it's so and so's business and that. It's not even mine. I'm like, yeah, we don't care. We're going in there, just start disconnecting everything. It's easy. Because the door's always open, ain't it, in businesses, like shops. The door's always open. You don't have to knock, you just walk
So you
in
just strike and that's it.
there. Strike, start disconnecting things. Yeah.
And that's what you fucking hell. When you come in here.
And then they start paying.
No, but listen, but this is it. It's mad, and like you say, that's an avenue that took you down to that. But
Yeah.
Marcus, I'm going to touch on something now with like life after boxing, you know, and it's probably going to be a bit of a what's name on this, but you know, you had a heavy cocaine addiction which lasted for 8 years.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I know it might be tough to speak about, but do you want to tell us where it all started and stuff like that?
Yeah, it started from the door work basically. You know what they say, environment's always where it starts. And with my situation, it was, I never blame anybody, it's nobody's fault. For pubs opening the doors, for people giving me door work, it's me for accepting certain, you know, accepting that drug in the first place and getting hooked. But it started off as a weekend kind of drug, you know, like trying to stay up at night, and if you have a few drinks, the pub I worked at, I could drink anything I wanted, so it weren't like I was teetotal.
Yeah.
So it was something to recover myself, bring me back sober, and have some extra energy. You know, as it does at the start.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of a good feeling, a decent feeling at the start, and then it just, you know, as people know, it takes you to a different direction. That you don't want. It spirals. Yeah, it went from weekends to 3 times a week to 4 times a week. Then it got to every day, and it got earlier.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? It takes a lot for people to open up and speak about like addiction and stuff like that. And you know, I see it on social media and to what you're doing now, and we're gonna get to that. But to where it took you, where you're saying like the cocaine and the drink, and it comes hand in hand.
It did.
You know what I mean? So a drink, a lot of people will have a drink, they'll go and have a line or whatever, and then the next thing, it's just of a weekend. Then, like you said, it's every couple of days, then it's every 4 days, then it's every day.
And then it was earlier. I'd need probably 4 or 5 drinks before I'd have a line, and then it got to one drink and it was having a line.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Then it got to, I'm starting at 6 o'clock on the sesh, then it got to 1 o'clock. So it started to get really out of control. It was never waking up in the morning thinking about it because I was always feeling too rough. And I still had that kind of self-respect where I'd go out and train. I still trained every single day through addiction as
Even though while you were at it?
Yeah,
like...
I mean, people can see it. That's what people can see. I was still, you know, physically fit and still looked all right, like, so.
Was you well, I mean, was you hiding it well, or was there people around you in the gym and that who give you a little tug and said, Marcus, listen, like, get a grip or whatever, or did no one, or did they just go in there and out the other?
I didn't really socialise too much on it.
Right.
I was when you're deep into addiction, you can feel comfortable around certain areas only, and certain people.
Or on your own.
The anxiety and the paranoia was far superior to go out and just live a normal life. So I'd stick in a cocoon, like in the same. The pub life, it was all people in the pub. I'd go to the pub, the gym, and that's it. I didn't really venture out any further. So all the people in the pub, because I lived on the pub side, because the pub I looked after the pub for a bit of muscle, because it was a rough pub called the Poets Corner in Willenhall, and you had everybody going through different areas. So I was the muscle of the pub on standby. So he put me in a flat above the pub.
So you were around it, you're there on...
I was around it all the time, yeah. But it was, you know, I was respected that much. Yeah, Marcus, you have one of them for free, and like it just got out of control.
And it's that thing as well, you know, when you're around people and stuff like that, and sometimes, like you've owned it, you said no one made you know what I mean, and that's fair enough. But you feel sometimes, do you feel obliged because someone's, I'll have a go with that or whatever, anyway. It's having that strong mental power to say, nah, I'm all right. But look, when you're that far in and you're in addiction, it's easy to go,
It was impossible back then. It was, you know what, it was impossible to say no. And because I was in the zone, didn't have no self-respect. I lost, you know, everything to do with who I was. It just started fizzling out, and I felt like I was just lonely in myself, and like I was part of that society, and the society I used to know. I'd let go of it. But then,
do you know as well, though, Marcus, do you find when you look back at it now, them people you think were your fucking friends, because listen, there's a lot, there's a lot of people who portray to be your friend and all that. And then the next thing, when it all goes, when you're turning your life around or whatever, they don't want to fucking know.
Well, whilst I was doing, I used to have sometimes 2-3 day sessions just sitting in the car. I mean, it sounds disgraceful now. We just park up. I'd see a couple of school runs. I'd see mums dropping the kids off, and I'd just be ordering something. I'd be ordering the next batch, and I didn't care about, even if I'd
you didn't give a shit what was going on around you.
Even if I had meetings, if I had to pick my daughter up, or it sounds bad to say, but I own it because I've exited it. So I processed it. I didn't even care about meeting my daughter and stuff like that. This is where it takes you. It's the devil, and once it gets hold of you, and it got hold of somebody like me who has so much self-respect and drive in life, and if you can get someone like me, you can get anybody.
And this is, look, I'm going to touch on it, but like you say, grabbing you by addiction, it grabs the biggest, the baddest people, do you know what I mean? And, I seen a quote today, I can't remember exactly, it was about something like, about friends and stuff, and that bag, your friends and all that are around you, but when that bag goes empty, do you know what I mean? And stuff like that. That bag can cost you your family, your friends, or whatever. And
I've seen that as well.
Did you see it?
I've seen that. Yeah. I couldn't wait to post it, but I didn't. But I wanted
to. But it just falls into what we're talking about.
It's spot on. Every single thing about that.
Every word was spot on, and I just was like, fucking hell, that that'll be to mention that. But obviously the madness and stuff like that. But while you were in addiction, all the shite that come with it and stuff, and falling out with family, friends. And stuff like relationships. Listen.
I was erratic. I was just weren't the same person. My family, my mum and dad, literally, they didn't wash their hands with me, but they just said, you know what, we know what you like. You've came away. You fixed yourself from everything in life. We've always left you to survive on your own, and I know you're capable of overcoming this. But I couldn't at the time, and they left me to it. And there weren't no moaning parents. They just sat back.
Said you made
your bed. Yeah. That's it. They're old school.
Tough love.
Yeah. And if I ever need them for anything, I'd phone up sometime and say, "Have you got 50 quid?" And they'd say, when you answer the phone, it was that kind of.
It's that tough love, Marcus, because like you say, there will be your parents, and it's even the same, with papa, and stuff like that. You've got to. They want the best for you, and sometimes, but like by saying no, it's like. It's probably going to upset you and offend you, but listen, this is the way it fucking is. And, when you sort of get your head around that and stuff like that, but in the madness and stuff, when was did it take you to a dark place, mate?
The darkest place I had was, I was in my flat next to the pub, and I think I had about £1,000. And I thought, I don't know whether it was to do with the kind of stuff it was mixed with at the time. Something changed in my mind, and I thought, this is the time where I want to go absolutely mental, shut the doors. I locked myself in the flat, never spoke to nobody, and it was for 3 days, and I kept on ordering stuff, posted through a letterbox, and I just didn't want to be in here. I was literally thought, you know what, the next line I'm going to have, which I was setting up that long, it's disgraceful to say, I thought that's going to be the ending of me, and I didn't really care whether my life went then. I was literally rock bottom. Yeah, and there was people walking past the flat because it was a pub, and even if I'd hear a sound, I'd jump behind the sofa.
Which are paranoid.
And I was hiding like that. I was thinking, please, no one knock this door, because the state of me, I'm never going to recover from what the people are going to see. That's not Marcus the champ. That's not Marcus the world champion. You know what? It's that I couldn't do it, and I hid behind that sofa. Every noise I jump over, and it's giving me goosebumps even just thinking about it.
Listen, I can see.
Because that's the lowest I've ever been.
So even, and it takes a lot, mate, to, and we appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, because your story, there's people out there now in addiction or secret perk, as we call them, because they say it's their secret, and they're doing exactly the same. And by listening to your story, how you turned your life around, but at that point in your life where you was then, you were taking, big amounts of cocaine and stuff, and then the next thing, you're right, and you're hearing a noise outside, and that's what it drives people to do. This is
Yeah.
this is the you know, this is what it
Yeah.
does to people.
It just limits their life. Like, people are doing it now, and they don't realise how much they're limiting their life, and what they're not seeing, and what they can do, and what they're capable of. It's because the people around them, what they're willing to be on the bare minimum of what they're doing. Just go to take drugs, go to the pub, go to work. They're in a little circle. They don't go on holiday. You know what I mean? They don't know how to conduct themselves in any other industry or areas.
There's a big bad world out there, mate.
Yeah,
Isn't
and
there?
I didn't see. I was stuck on the pub car park.
That's all.
And the gym, and I thought that's what life was. And they're all doing it now. The people, what I'm doing it with now, they're still doing the same life now.
And this is the thing where you've made change. You've had to make them changes, and look where you're at in your life now. Do you know what I mean? But Marcus, when did the penny drop for you where you thought, fucking hell, I can't do this no more. I can't do it.
When I met this lady, yeah. When I met her, basically, because she come from having another addict. She doesn't choose addicts.
Yeah.
It just was. I've been so unfortunate. Fortunate for me.
Yeah.
Her ex was a high on cocaine as well, addict. He still is now to this day, and I've even been trying to help him as well. He's on TikTok as well, trying to preview his journey, and I've been supporting him, saying, you know what, come on. I mean, people think, what are you doing that for? But I want to help everybody.
But Marcus, do you know, to say that, and I've just met your lovely partner when you arrived and stuff, and to hear that, right? Let me just be honest with you. To hear that, like, you've met your lovely missus.
Yeah.
She's, you know, her ex-partner's obviously same similarities. Look, and you're fucking trying to help them. Do you know what I mean?
It's crazy.
No, listen, and a lot of people might go, but you can see that you know, you're trying to make change. Well, you are making change and stuff. But to like, where you want to be moving on with your lives and stuff like that, you don't want any, you know, you know what I mean? But listen, I'm just being honest.
I think because she didn't deserve all them years with him being like that, and I thought satisfaction for. I mean, she obviously doesn't want anything to do with it now, but she has it on her shoulders that she couldn't help him. She feels guilty. She feels guilty. The partners feel guilty to us that they can't help us, and they carry a burden. And I was willing to. I didn't want that to her have a burden on it, because she's proud of me. You know, coming. Because
you've made it. And you know what? That's what's into your missus, because for what she's had to go through.
She went through hell with him.
Well, yeah, and then obviously yourself, and she's thinking, fucking hell, am I going to have all this again? And let me be honest, she's probably thinking, am I going to have this again?
A year with me, wasn't it? A year in addiction.
Yeah, and then I gave him tough love.
Yeah.
And that tough love, where there's that ultimatum, and there's fucking certain things get put in place, and you're thinking...
We struggled bad, didn't we?
Yeah.
We were in a flat and we struggled really, really bad. Like, when I say struggled, we were like on rock bottom. I moved back in with my mum and left him with no eating, no gas, no electric, and no food.
I spent it all on coke.
So I left him like that.
Well, but you know what? And that's it took that by your missus to obviously what she's just explained, and this is what people don't understand. What addiction does to people, when people think just by and listen, everyone's to their own. I'm not here saying fucking hell. I'm not being a hypocrite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done things myself. But what I'm saying, what your missus has just explained, that's what it fucking does. Because people are more interested in, you know, spending money on getting the next bag of Charlie.
Yeah.
But when there's food, there's electric, there's gas, there's no. And that tough love by your missus is like, look, this is the way it is. If you do not turn your life around, you're fucking long gone. Do you know what I mean?
I see that many people now, and he was one of them. Her ex, he's got a new partner now. He's just got a newborn baby.
Yeah.
And that was the time he should have changed, and that's what made me want to help him even more.
Because they're bringing a newborn baby instead.
Well, unfortunately, it's gone tits up for him. He's relapsed.
Yeah.
After 33 days, he's cracked. So I was disappointed. If anyone I wanted to see, you know, survive it
and get through it,
get through it would be him, but he's not. He's gone back. So,
and they've got to want to do it themselves, Marcus, because it's we all want to try and help people in certain ways, but it's this thing. There's only you who can make. You can walk a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You know what I mean? And that's that saying, isn't it? But the thing, like you're saying, with what you're doing, you know, listen, it's a thing that I've sort of realised, you know, you've got to work on yourself.
Yeah.
Work on yourself and do as much as you can to make yourself the better person than you was yesterday. And then, you know, and what you're doing, because I think, is it 2.5 years clean and sober? Is it 2.5 years?
I'm up to 1,000 days nearly, so it's 2.7 years. So, as you said, it's there's always a reason for you to change, but you have to mentally tap in and challenge yourself and want it, and basically put yourself in fight camp. If you're willing to do, I mean, there's organisations out there. But I think, to me, they're like, you know, they're telling you step by step what to do. And I think as soon as you shut your door, it's only you who can help yourself.
The mind starts.
And that's why I try to tell people, you don't need to spend £1,000 or you don't need to go into these rehab centres. If you set your mindset and really tap into what you set out to do, and be tough, mentally tough enough to do it, and see what you're made of, and treat it as an opponent, because it is an opponent.
It's a big fight, isn't it?
It's a big fight. Whether you fight or not, whether you've punched anybody in your life or what, it doesn't matter. You know what? Just treat that cocaine addiction like an opponent, and go into fight camp in mentally in your mind, and avoid your environment. Do your ice baths, your cold water exposure, because that replaced dopamine to your body, and that was key to my success in recovering, for the physical attributes of it, because I'd go all funny sometimes just watching telly or whatever, because I'm used to off cocaine. You're used to that much dopamine to your body.
Yeah.
So I jumped in cold water. I was filling up the baths, weren't I? I'd just jump in randomly and get the dopamine high, but after a certain amount of time, it fizzled out. So your body doesn't. My body don't need it now.
Natural. It's just
naturally. You don't need to rely on dopamine. But yeah, it was tough. But to do it yourself is so much rewarding, and it's.
And where you're at, and what do people most often misunderstand about your journey, Marcus?
How can somebody like that come from being an ex-world champion boxer and have so much self-respect, image-wise? He looks like he wants to look, go out and look after himself and whatnot, and get dragged into.
But it can grab anyone, mate, can't it?
Yeah.
It's just, whether you're a pro boxer or a pro footballer, or you hear about all these people, and it can happen to anybody.
I think because through my boxing career, I didn't do none of that, so that they don't expect it. I didn't hardly drink. I drank sometimes. I didn't drink when I was in camps.
Yeah.
I'd have a few drinks after and I'd stop. So people didn't expect me to go that far with it. And it's a true saying, when it's replacing the highs when you retire from sports. You have to replace the highs some way. And unfortunately, that was what I replaced it with. I heard it before, and I told people, no, that's not going to be me. And guess what? It was me. Yeah.
You know, so also, the influence of helping people in recovery and raising awareness to drink and drug addiction. Just speaking to you then about it, like you obviously wanting to, your partner there, you want to help people. I see you so like big on socials and stuff like that, and your videos inspire people. Do you know what I mean? And
thank you.
How does that make you feel? To listen, you're
2.7 years, 1,000 days. It just makes me feel worthy of. This is what I'm on this planet for now. I mean, I've achieved what I've achieved, but I'm concentrating on everybody else now. If that is so much of an obstacle to beat, cocaine addiction is getting bigger as well. It's getting more popular.
It's everywhere. Let's be honest, Marcus. It's everywhere.
It's getting out of control. Around, my area, it's
all everywhere. Everywhere's the same. And I think it's not. I think the UK, and it's one of them where, unfortunately, it's one of them. It's everywhere, and like you say, there's a lot of people that do get sucked in, and it's sad. And
I refuse to let people get sucked in and lose everything. I don't want people to be losing everything. You got a chance. Your missus says it's your last chance. Listen, because that's exactly what I done. Last week was a perfect example. He's got kicked out. He's lost his kid. People have got to listen. You got to, just stick to the plan. Tune in. Listen to what you got to do. Set your mindset. Be regimental with yourself, and get out your environment. The environment is key first of all. And
surrounding yourself with people. I mean, look, it's because a lot of people who've got friends and stuff like that, where you can bring yourself away from all that, but you can still have a circle of friends that listen. Everyone's different. I'm not saying, stop doing whatever. That's that. Look, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But it's the decisions and the consequences. That's the thing. Decisions and consequences. And when it all goes tits up, and you're feeling like shit because your missus has bailed you. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what happens.
It is, yeah. It
But
is.
do you know when you get people falling into your inbox, DMs, or, you know, in your inbox, how does that make you feel when there's, like, it could be someone's missus, or it could be someone's, you know, someone's fella saying, listen, me fella or me missus is fucking bang at it, and I don't know what to do, want me to lose.
It's what drives me these days. It's the most rewarding feeling I get because I'm so passionate about talking about and having the answers to coming out of addiction. I mean, there's not many people like me who's just woke up one day, who's used no organisations, just the power of the mindset. And I tell people, if you really want it, you can do it. And I give them the strategy, the plan on the ice baths and that and stuff, and tell them that, you know, what step by step what to do. And some of them have took that step, and they are still going strong now. And it's people I'd never mention any names and whatnot, but the people what I wouldn't have thought who are in my inbox, though, strong big guys and whatnot, and they're still needing help because, as you say, it just gets said, but it doesn't matter how big you are or how hard you are or what you've got. How much money you got, it could attack everybody. And if you haven't, I never had that one mate through addiction to talk to. I always wanted that conversation with, you know, should we be doing this? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing these things? This is not right. I always knew it wasn't right, but I never had that one mate
who pulled you and told you the truth.
Who tapped into my mind and says, you know what, this is what you're doing isn't right.
It's getting out of control now. You need to get it.
It was always, sod you miss, you tell her to shut up. Bro, come on, you earn that much money, you're allowed to this, you're that. That's what it is. But you need that one, everyone needs that one mate.
I think what you're saying, Marcus, is what a lot of people, you know, it's that people pass it off. It's like, it's only banter and all that and stuff like that. And it's like, it's that bravado of like, listen, how do you do this and do, but they're not there when everything's fucking run out.
Yeah.
You've got to go home and your missus isn't opening the door.
Worst feeling ever. Do
you know what I mean?
I don't know why people keep, you know what, listening now, if any people suffer addiction, please, you got to stop that, because you don't want to keep doing that, open that door.
The door will never get open again, will it?
It's the worst feeling. No, yeah, that door will stop being open, that's it, and then you've lost everything.
There's only so much.
Yeah.
Like the ultimatum your missus said to you, look, you know, you need to get it. And there's so many, like, missuses and fellas who, you know, up and down the UK, who were saying enough's of enough, they can't do it no more, like you're saying.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to take a lot of what's name, Marcus, because what you've discussed there is like a lot of people doing what you've been through, but like obviously to this, you know, where you were at the height of your career and stuff like that. And like you're saying, you'd never really touched what's name and stuff, but then and again, it came afterwards, and it's that wanting that, you know, the high of like the boxing and all that, and then you've replaced it with that, and then it's gone like it's took you to your fucking knees. Do you know what I mean?
It did. I did. I lost everything.
Yeah.
But then I gained something a lot more. So
you've got a strong missus who's fully behind you, supportive, you know. And at the end of the day, I think you need somebody like that where but it's a two-way thing. You've got to, you know, she'll play her part, and you play your part. It's the same with everyone, and that's what you've got to do.
Exactly, absolutely right.
But listen, I believe you've run 2 marathons. You've got is it the 3rd one in the pipeline or something?
Yeah, October. The full marathon is October, Chester. So yeah, I love. The reason why I got into running, it was the same kind of connection with addiction.
Does it clear your mind and that when you go running and all that, or do you listen to music, or is it just something?
I listen to nothing. I'm kind of strange. I'll tap into nature when I'm running, and I like to feel that every single bit of pain, bit of thoughts through it, because that's what connects me to. I started running in general, because you've got one side of the shoulder saying you want to carry on, one side you want to say.
But that little thing on your shoulder,
stop. Same with addiction. Shall I have one? Shall I not? And it kind of like related to the mindset. So that's why I started running, and it was like kind of like getting me used to that challenging feeling. But if you keep carrying on, you're defeating the voice on your shoulder to tell you to stop, and that's what addiction is. You're defeating the voice. Yeah. So
you enjoy the running and stuff like that.
And I think running is so. It is.
I've got a few mates around here who they started a running group called the Silverbacks, right? That's what they call the silverbacks. And there's always a group of them all. I don't go running because I can't run, you know what I mean? But and the lad who started it has moved to Australia, but I'll be surprised he didn't fucking run there because he's like you. He just run and run and run and run. But they always say, like, you know, they started that group and, you know, young, old, sometimes there's about 20, 30 of them on the streets at like 5 in the morning, you know, running and that like that. But they say it's good for the mind and
it is,
and for people's mental health and stuff like that.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
for mental health, it's I'm so much into it now. I didn't think I would because I ran when I was boxing, but it was only like 5k, something like that, and I got to 10 miles, 12 miles, 13 miles, and
now you're doing 26.
Yeah, I've done 2 half marathons. I said to myself, I know I'm going to head for a pre 2 hours. But as soon as I got on track, I started racing everybody, didn't I? So the competitive nature,
competitiveness is still there.
Yeah.
Like.
So the second time was 1:35, but this marathon, I'm just gonna be glad to actually do it.
Listen, you know, it takes a lot to fucking. I couldn't do a 5k now, like, but I'm just, you know what I mean. But look, it's good that, you know, you're replacing, you know, your positive, all the positive stuff that you're doing, and, you know, and it keeps you ground, it keeps you where you want to be. Do you know what I mean?
You feel like an elite athlete running. I mean, more than boxing. If I come off a 30-mile run, I feel like I'm more of an elite athlete than doing 6 rounds on the bags or whatever. It's It's a definitely more rewarding, you know, endorphin kind of. Bradley Price is a good marathon runner as well. I boxed Bradley Price from the Calzaghe gym, and he's a brilliant runner. I speak to him regular. You've been out running with him, or do you just not Bradley Price? No, I'd speak to him, and he just gives me some advice because he does ultra marathons and stuff like that. So
ultra marathons,
yeah,
and stuff
he does
like
that.
that.
Yeah, he's deep in it. He's the man. Yeah.
That's good though, you know
and
what I
he
mean?
can punch as well. He stopped me as well.
Yeah.
He's the most heavy-handed fight I fought with Bradley Price.
Yeah.
So shout out to Bradley Price.
Yeah, he's a great boxer, Bradley.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've truly healed from your past, or are you still carrying it?
I have to really tune into my mind because I'm helping people and I'm having to talk about it.
It's always there.
It's always there. So, but I have to separate that. Is it there in general? And it's not there in general. I'm fully healed now. I have no thoughts to go back to taking drugs or alcohol. I'm not even had any thoughts about it at all. But because I do talk about it a lot to help people, I've got to separate it. It's not there because of it's embedded in me. Addiction is embedded. It's there because I'm happy to share it with people.
Share the you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly to people.
Exactly,
basically, innit?
Exactly that, mate. Yeah, I'm fully healed now,
and that makes you feel so good about it and stuff like that.
And I don't get many people admitting that, because with organisation, I don't think you're fully healed because I think you've got one foot in at the door with them still, and I think they're always going to tell you that you're going to relapse. Not slating what they do. It's people.
That's just your opinion.
It's my opinion.
That's
I think
great.
if you keep checking in with these organisations like 12 Steps and whatnot, you can always feel like I don't think you're going to break away. I think you know what they're going to.
That's in the back there, just to reel you back in. Do you think? Is it?
Yeah, I think
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but to do it yourself, I'm fully healed. The power of healing. I say to people, the power of healing is real.
And it's all done by yourself, innit?
I'm real. I'm the truth. Yeah, so
that's brilliant. You know what I mean? But I'll ask you this, Marcus. When was the last time you cried and what triggered it?
Last time I cried? Oh, wow. Well, my dog died. My dog died called Remy, and it's I didn't expect it, to be honest. I love
part of the fact your dog's a part of your family, and like, you know what I mean.
But yeah, I didn't think it would be that. I'm glad it's that because I love dogs. I've got 2 French bulldogs now. I've had about 4 or 5 since Remy, so I've stuck to French bulldogs, and that's
what triggered it. Losing your dog.
Losing my dog. It was kind of strange because I knew he was going that day. He looked at me a certain way, and he kind of like, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought it was going to be something in regards to addiction and stuff like that. So I could see it like a little bit like what's the name. But listen, I think with all our dogs and stuff like that, we've got a dog called Daisy. There's nothing worse. I walk it and I'm shouting Daisy, and everyone's looking at me. I've got a dog called Daisy on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like, but no, it was just something that I wanted to ask you, and I thought it might have been about addiction.
That situation, it was strange, but it's kind of like put a barrier up for anything else now. It's the shield for any other emotions, and I kind of struggle with emotions at the minute because that situation has stopped me feeling emotions at time, which my partner works in with kids with mental health stuff like that. She's trained to tap into the mind and stuff like that, and know to be ADHD, bipolar and stuff like that, or she knows autism. She deals with kids like that all the time, so she sees the emotions in me are a bit scarce at the minute. So, and that's because of
she can read the signs.
Yeah,
and
read
stuff.
the signs. Yeah. I mean, the life I've lived, I think they've just had so much tragedy and highs and lows. I think I'm kind of got that shield up there to.
So slowly, like let's do what we've got to do. But
Yeah, man.
Everything you've spoken about, Marcus, what's been the good, the bad, and the ugly?
The good is you know what, saying the good, I say winning titles and that are good, but coming out of addiction is a better feeling. I don't know whether it's because it's recent. I think the good is
The biggest achievement.
Yes, it's the biggest fight. It was a bigger fight. Yeah, even though we're not getting punched in the face or the ribs or whatever, it's still it's the hardest one to what I never thought I'd do. So I mean, I always knew I was going to be a champion, not being big-headed.
Yeah,
it's what you know what you're trying to do. But that was something what I've done today, what nobody really are doing.
Yeah,
it's tough. And coming on this show, I appreciate you. This is good. I appreciate you.
Listen, I appreciate you because seeing your stuff online and seeing what you what you were doing and stuff like that, and I'm banging to me boxing and stuff, and I thought, you know what, and I didn't realise and understand exactly where it took you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's so many boxers out there who, like you hit it on the head. There's so many boxers out there who live the high of, and that's what they miss. That they the back in camp. They prepare for the fight, 12-week in camp or whatever. Next thing, or 16 weeks in camp, and then the next thing they have fight night.
Yeah.
And a week later they're back in the gym, or a couple of days later, because it's that high. But then they find a substitute, whether it be drink, drugs, whatever it is.
Yeah. But
you to speak out so openly and listen, you've been honest and raw. If I'm going to be honest, and that's what we want to be. It's no sugarcoating nothing.
Not absolutely. That's what I'm here to do, to tell the truth, and that's it. And
you're here to help people as well.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if there was any advice, I'm sorry, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to go back to. What would be the bad of what I was asking you before? The bad of everything that's gone on, the bad and the ugly of everything that's gone on.
The bad is the gang life. Yeah. The gang life, what I've been caught up in, the gang life, what I've received. You know what? Just that was a bad time.
Yeah.
It was a dangerous time. You know, there was firearms and stuff like that. I was around as well.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really tap into then, but yeah, there was guns and that. Well, I got showed to gangs to say, so you know what?
I think a lot of people will understand when gangs.
You need to pipe down and stay in your lane. You know, so that's the bad. The ugly so much. Ugly's kind of like on the fence, but
No, the ugly. So basically, would you say the addiction and stuff, to where it took you? Do you know what I mean? Would you say, would that be the ugly, or?
Yeah, I'd say so. Definitely.
Yeah,
being addiction, it is the ugly. Yeah. That's that easy. Think about that 100%.
Yeah. What advice would you give anyone watching or listening who's in the pit right now and doesn't see a way out?
There is a way out. You can just wake up one day. And even just look, I was doing £200 to £300 a day in my addiction at the peak, every single day of the week. And I just woke up one day and I said, enough's enough. I've got too much to lose. And you know what? If don't leave it to your last chance in life. Listen to today, because you won't get a second chance. And the rewards at the end of it being recovered and healed are just amazing. And I feel a lot better than I did. Way more than any highs what you get from that poison.
Yeah,
it's really is toxic poison. It's getting you nowhere. I just advise everybody to stop now and appreciate the life and people around their life as well.
Yeah.
Have self-respect for themselves and just know that substance is not.
It's not good for you.
No, it's not good for you, man. Not at all.
Family life today.
Family life's good. Yeah, family life's good. Got a nice missus. Getting married 2027.
Yeah.
Is that the right date? Yeah.
If it wasn't, she'd be giving you the right up, I think.
And yeah, parents are okay. Just everything's life's good at the minute. I'm ticking all boxes, and there's another thing what you do when you've recovered. Life's, you don't get no curveballs, and you can kind of control your life a bit more.
Yeah.
You get more rewards out of life, and yeah, no obstacles.
Yeah,
In
listen,
control, fully in control.
that's what you want to, you know what, mate, I think with what you just spoke about there, you know, family life and stuff, and you and your missus are going to get married and stuff like that, and let's be honest, you know, a couple of years ago, you listen, you'd have no, like what you've explained, you know, it's one of them, but listen, this is what this podcast is about. It's like real people coming on with real stories, and, you know, it's people like yourself who've been, you know, down on the knees and whatever, good, bad and ugly, but you're here to tell a story and that you never give up, and it is possible to make change and stuff like that. But what's in the pipeline for Marcus Portman?
The pipeline is having a mini Portman. That's and through steroid abuse as well. We got back into that. It kind of shut down my natural production, and that's the danger of steroid abuse as well. Being on it for so long through bodybuilding shut my natural production down. It's taken years and years to come back now. Being off, I don't take steroids at all. I never took them when I was boxing, but I took them when I was off them, and I started when I went on stage to do physique competitions and bodybuilding. I took them then, but my production's back now, firing on all cylinders. So yeah, that's a mini.
Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put you in touch with. We had a guy on, Zach Wilkinson.
Okay.
He was on a steroid. He was addicted to steroids.
Yeah.
I think you and him would touch base and listen network, because what you're talking about, like steroids and stuff like that.
It's a hard thing to break.
Yeah, and listen, I think
I say to
be great to just both catch up and stuff like that.
It's a hard thing to break. And I've done the three that I'd give up: steroids, drink, and cocaine. The three devils, but I never gambled. That's the fourth devil. But look, I gave it the three. I woke up one day and I beat the three giants. So there you go. Listen, Marcus, you know what? It's been absolutely brilliant, you know, for you to come on and be so honest and open. And I knew a little bit about you, but I thought, wow, you know, what you spoke about, you were open, you were honest, you were raw. And listen, I just want to say thanks so much for sharing the good, the bad and the ugly. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, mate.